So this is where when we think about skills and where we think that performance, the value flow as we think about skills moving throughout the business, I think this key things that we see those skills affecting or touching throughout the organisation. So when we're thinking about what's the strategic objectives that the business needs, what are the skills, what's the work that comes into that, what's the shared outcomes that we hope to achieve as an organisation and into those kind of key results, and how does that really lead to overall company performance. Then I don't know if you want to jump in as well with a little bit more detail on this. It's a really lovely infographic that Dana pulled together as well. So
Thanks, Kirsty. Yeah, just trying to really understand that performance value is flowing from your skills. So how you do the work, what you do, and how you do it is the skills that you deliver against the work. And then that always changes the outcomes. So those outcomes could be better or worse, depending on the skills that you have to address the work. And then that will impact your key results, and then that will impact your company performance. So that value flow is where we're seeing you could make a difference to performance in 2026 with addressing the skills at the beginning of that chain and flowing that forward. But also to be aware that this is a cycle. So where performance value flows from the skills towards the company performance, equally your strategic objectives drive the skills that you need. So thinking about what your business has to do, the strategy of what you have to deliver, that will also drive the skills need that you have in your organization. And it's about really, this webinar is about understanding the landscape you're in, giving you some tools and helping you to be able to articulate how this might change for your next year.
as you're thinking about the infographic, thinking about the steps that you're kind of going through as you're kind of questioning that inside your organisation, again, we're thinking about what matters most, what's that strategic buy-in that's going to get everybody excited about the goals that you have inside your organisation or the missions that you're on. And then thinking about how we describe that and talk about it inside our organisations, that shared language again. And then what can we do with the architecture of that helps us mobilise things quicker or move the business in a more productive fashion as we go forward into 26.
We've started that conversation with thinking about where you fit, where your business leaders fit. So we'll move forward.
This just comes back to that first question we were all talking about. So why does this matter? Well, I don't think there's a single business that we speak to on a day-to-day basis that are standing still, whether they're thinking about AI or they've won a new project or they're having to think about how they restructure their business to cope with change or changing demands from their own customers. No one's standing still. So this iterative process that we go through with skills and skills development inside our organisation is affecting everybody. So all that change is people-led and people-dependent, even in technology companies as well. So if we think about those core objectives that the business is on, what things are we doing as teams, as people, that take us to the North Star that we all hope that we're going to end up in by the end of 26, or what's the key performance outcomes that we hope to be able to achieve as well. And it's only when you start to look at that, how is that being communicated? How are you going to help your business think about how it's communicated top down? Or is it reporting from a bottom up process, for example, within your team that you might be even working with today? And then we think about how is performance unlocked as a result of being able to understand what skills that we have from that leadership, the direction, the strategy, the way in which we're delivering the things that we do. Does that filter through to our teams and to our colleagues as well, and the work that actually needs to be delivered or done, and the skills that we use to be able to do that? So it gives us really kind of clear ability to be able to communicate that between one another. And then when we think about the overlay of things like AI or automation, being able to have that common language to be able to describe it or communicate it within our team as well helps us understand what's the next steps that we need to take as a business. So some of the skills will be totally on point. Others you'll start to see, gosh, we need some work in this area, or there's a bit of a gap, or we don't have enough talent inside the organisation. We need to maybe think about hiring some of that key talent. And some just won't exist right now inside your organisation. That's where you're growing to or moving to over time. So yeah, it's really about how we help one another, to understand which skills are critical, which ones matter to you, how are they affecting performance, even morale between one another, and what does this look down with this top down, bottom up process as well.
Thanks, Kirsty. So when we look at gaining buy-in, obviously for any activity that you want to do, you're going to have to identify with your leadership team and the people that are owning decisions in this space. This is an activity that you want to do, and helping them understand that skills are going to help performance might come down to identifying some of these strategic signals in your business that are coming through from a top-down perspective. So some of the examples, we're working to improve our bottom line, we want efficiency, we want restructure. Those are signals that are indicating to you that there's missing value in your business somewhere. So we have to do something to bring about more value for our business, to drive more money into the bottom line, to get efficiency in how we deliver. So there's a question mark there that you can apply skills to that signal that helps them understand that actually there's a return on investment here with doing things differently and understanding our skills will help us drive that efficiency and will help us do those restructures and improve the bottom line. There's a return on investment there. Another strategic signal that you might have is, say, missing talent, hard to fill vacancies or skills shortages. So these could be signals that we see every day in the press. We're limited on growth, we're limited on performance because we have a skills shortage. And having the ability to work with your skills allows you to do things like find hidden talent and also to hire for the right skills. So we hear the news, oh, we have a skills shortage, but we don't often get as much focus on the news stories around we're doing something about that. And in each organization that you're in, understanding those skills shortages will give you the capability to act on that. And that will be finding the right talent, hiring for the right skills. And another strategic signal that you might have in your organization, a bit of a temperature check of what's going on at the moment in the world, is a lot of hiring freezes. Organizations are wanting to do more with less or more with the same. So they want to be able to mobilize their talent and engage their employees differently to be able to get some of their performance increasing. Otherwise, they'll be just at a static point. So you can't improve performance if you just do everything exactly the same as you're doing it today. It's not going to improve. So that's going to mean that you need to do more with your internal mobility. Skills help with that. Engagement skills help with that. Succession, planning for skills, workforce planning. These are all about removing risks and dependencies inside your organization that gives you the ability to increase and improve your performance. You also might have higher levels of attrition and low levels of engagement, where skills will help unpick that for you. So we're moving.
Thanks, Dinah. So that real buy-in that we were talking about, it's sometimes really hard to believe where skills are making a real difference, you know. I think maybe sometimes it's in the busyness of everything as well. And so we've got a couple of ideas that you can really think about to kind of test this, you know, just to kind of look at what Dinah's just been talking about inside your organisation. So designing an experiment, you know. So we believe a skills focus can improve performance in this organisation. How will we know that? What would be the key metrics that you would choose that said, okay, if we do this or take this approach, what were the key indicators that we could use as a way to be able to measure this progress that we're seeing today? Did we have missing skills as a team? By understanding our skills, were we able to now close those gaps? Maybe we had the right L&D all this time inside our organisation, but we weren't utilising it in the right way. That would be a really early indicator of success. And then where skills had improved, did performance overall improve, you know? Was that coming out in one-to-one discussions, for example, or did we see an increase in productivity in some kind of way as well? So there's some really simple, quick, agile tests that you can do, even in a very small team or units, to kind of get going on this and then share that inside your organisation. We find that that's a great way to kind of start to get buy-in. Should we move to the next slide too now?
Yeah.
So continuing on this again, really, Dinah, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. So that's our strategic level buy-in, and then bottom up buy-in as well, because obviously as we said earlier, all
Yeah.
change is a people change. So if you're looking to move into a skills approach and a skills focus around performance, there are going to be signals that are happening in your organization that actually could help you address those changes with the benefits for using a skills focus. So some of the signals you might have are things like low engagement, attrition, um, career development limitations, low mobility, people stuck in a role, not feeling that they can move upwards, sideways, into learning more. You might have gaps where you're not really
Hmm.
hiring in the right skills. You're doing some bad hires in there where you're thinking, we had a job description, we thought we're hiring the right person, but we have repeated poor hiring. So really getting underneath the skin of that and understanding the skills needed in that role can help you actually address that. Your performance could be static in some areas. There could be missed objectives. There could be a low uptake of L&D, and there could be
In
absenteeism
some
in
cases, yeah.
in the organisation. So yeah, all of these are signals that are thinking something's not working, and all of those signals are putting your performance at risk for 2026. And really, in terms of engaging your employees, there's buy-in that's available there for you. There are benefits to working with skills for those people in your organisation. You want people to always feel employable. So where we are at the moment, we're seeing a large amount of layoffs for things. We're seeing people talking about AI taking over jobs. Individuals in your organization should always be employable. Might not be employed by you, but they should be employable, and giving them ownership of their skills development, open opportunities to see where they could move to, how far away they are from another role, skills pathways to develop their skills, and ways to increase their own capability. If they stay with your organization, that's going to improve your performance. If they leave your organization,
Hmm.
they're going to be employable. So these are ways that you can build trust with your organization. We go through difficult change. It's horrible for people, but it's about doing that in a way that helps people understand that this can
Yeah.
benefit to
And
them
that they're
as
part
well.
of that. I think that gives people a real sense of purpose. So really thinking about culture as well, that's maybe something you can marry back to your key values that you have as a business as well. That's always really critical in board papers as well. So even thinking about that from communicating it at the top down again approach, sometimes that's a really helpful place to start. Shall we move on to